Hello world, I'm Ging Ledesma and I'm the Director of Social Performance Innovation, and I work from most of the time Oikocredit in Amersfoort, but these days I work mostly from home. Well, especially because most of us are in lockdown mode. Even our partners are in lockdown mode. That just means that we can't get together with people. We can't go and visit their offices. We can't go and visit the field. We can't meet with their end clients. And so that's having a major impact on our work. Instead, we try to do most of the things that we need to do now remotely by webinars and phone calls and the like. But I'm hoping that soon we will be able to ease the restrictions, because there's still nothing like face-to-face and people-to-people contact in the kind of work that the social performance, capacity building, and innovation department does. You have end clients who are not able to go about doing their business, and because they're not able to go about doing their business, they're unable to, or they have difficulties paying their loans to the microfinance institutions. And the microfinance institutions is a knock-on effect. They have difficulty then either paying their loans to their own creditors or releasing new loans for new clients that knock on their doors. So one of the first concerns was liquidity, following on the concerns of staff welfare and safety. And so our colleagues on the business side have been very fast on the ball. And you will probably hear from Bart Van Eyck, Director of Investments, about the measures that they have taken to try to mitigate the pressure on liquidity for our project partners. But as Oikocredit, we always say that we go beyond the business transaction, we go beyond the financial transaction. And so at SPI, we ask ourselves, okay, so what are the problems that our project partners are likely to face? No? And so what we did was to reach out to our project partners, and we found out that particularly the small, with MFIs, the small institutions, the not so established institutions, had more of a problem dealing with the impact of the pandemic than the bigger and the more established ones. The smaller institutions have less resources, and they don't have the stress testing, scenario building, and business continuity plans fully in place. So what we did was we organized two series webinar focusing only on, okay, how do you respond? So business continuity, scenario building, stress testing, liquidity analysis. And it's interesting because some of these project partners have also been through risk management training in the past, for example. But you find, or the feedback that we got, yeah, we know about scenario building. Yes, liquidity analysis. Yes, we did that, but we haven't really done it. Now that the real thing has come, there was a little bit of a shock and, okay, what do we do now? What do we do now? And I think it made a big difference that Oikocredit stepped up and we said, okay, let's come together, let's go over this again, let's build the scenarios, what are we doing, what are the considerations, who are the stakeholders, and how do we manage this? That made a big difference. So we did a two-part webinar series on the skills thing of business continuity and scenario building. We also felt that with all the restrictions being put in place, you have project partners who were beginning to feel isolated. You can just imagine if you're a CEO, you cannot go out, you're just thinking, you're in your room thinking all the time, what's happening, how am I going to deal with this, my staff, my clients, and so on. And we felt that it would do everybody a world of good if we try to create a sense of solidarity, a sense of community, bring to life that thing that Oikocredit always speaks about, which is relational, a relationship among people, and in this case, our project partners. So we organized a second type of webinar, which was more like, let's have coffee and let's learn from the leaders. So we invited some two organizations in two separate instances, established institutions that were leading in terms of their response to the pandemic. And we organized a meeting, invited other organizations to just have a conversation. Let's learn from each other. So, what are you doing? How is it affecting you as a leader, as a person? How are you feeling with all of this? No? And I think people responded very well to that, so much so that we're now thinking that maybe as a regular thing, we should have a platform where we get our partners, the CEOs or the investment officers, depending on the topic, to speak to each other. And what was heartening at that time was you had a group of people who, in normal circumstances, would be competitors. But at that time, they were just people talking to each other about the problem that they were facing. There was no sense of, I'm not going to tell you this because you might do the same thing and you're my competitor. It was everybody trying to reach out and say, well, I did this and we did that first and then this second. And then you had questions with, how do you deal with this? And how do you react if... So it was very, I think, for the first time, partners had a conversation that helped them emotionally as well. They were really very happy to have Oikocredit show in a very real sense that Oikocredit was walking with them. And also on the leaders learning from leaders series, they said that they were able to learn so much from each other, both from the questions as well as from the answers. Yeah, I also learned a lot from that Learning from Leaders webinar. And one of the things, for example, that our project partner in Nigeria, one of the first things that they did, even before they heard from their creditors or from regulators, was they immediately informed their clients, okay, we are temporarily suspending repayments, but we're also suspending disbursements. That means there's no pressure on you now to immediately repay your loans. First, make sure that you are safe. And they also then made sure that staff were safe. They put out an information campaign on how to stay safe. Wash your hands, distance from people. If you go outside, wear masks if masks are available. And the one other interesting thing that this particular institution did was the managing director made regular phone calls randomly to clients, just to let them know the institution is here, we're not going away, we're watching how the situation develops, we want to work with you on how to mitigate the impact of this crisis as much as possible on your enterprises and on your lives. So they were very proactive in that sense. Because they were not able to do their group meetings anymore, they reallocated and redesigned their processes so that they said we wanted as much as possible to maintain the contact with the clients. Even if we're not collecting, but we want to be sure that they know that we are there, that we are around, and that when this is all over, we will continue to be around. Which I think is a very important message that I think we in Oikocredit are also trying to get through to our project partners. We are here for the long haul. We're not here like a flash in the pan that at the first difficulty will disappear or go away. We are here for the long haul, and we're also very much interested in working together with them to mitigate the impact of this crisis on on their operations. I think at this point in time, what we are also thinking, based on the feedback that we have from project partners, we're thinking, how can we now move from an immediate response to shifting the thinking around to, okay, is there anything that we can pick up now but do differently? Uh, so a new way of working. Even with the current restrictions, is there a new way of working? Are there opportunities that present itself both to the MFI or to the clients of the MFI? And how can we make use of those opportunities? So in the here and now, it's not all negative, it's not all black. There might be some opportunities that come out of this that we should be able to make use of. And in the long run or in the medium term, we're asking ourselves, how can we contribute to creating an energy of what do we do on the day after? And how can we prepare for the day after? How do we get ourselves sorted and positioned in such a way that when that door opens, we hit the ground running? I think on for our investors to thank you once again for your solidarity, your confidence in Oikocredit. I think if I look at how things are developing, I must say that when we tell the world Oikocredit is unique, and one of the unique points of Oikocredit is that we have a base of investors who are committed, who are long-term partners of Oikocredit, and who won't easily fly away. We have a loyal, committed investor base who care deeply about the work that Oikocredit does, who care deeply about the impact of the work of partners on low-income people the world over. And I think the stability that you have shown and the continuing solidarity that you have shown with project partners is something that is very much appreciated. Without you and without your support, we would not be able to stay with project partners for the long haul. And we would not be able to provide project partners with the stability and the flexibility that they need so much at this point in time. And for project partners, know that we are with you, know that we are working with you to look for solutions because we care about the work you do.